Have you ever found yourself staring at your dog, wondering, what is he thinking? Sometimes he patiently licks your feet, drags his butt across the floor like he's up to something mischievous, or stretches every time you walk into the room, and all you can do is laugh, because honestly, you have no idea what's going on. These seemingly odd behaviors are actually your dog's way of trying to say something, through the instinctive and emotional language of a creature who can't speak in words. They're not just random reflexes. They are subtle signs of love, trust, and even deep emotional or physical needs that we often overlook. In this video, we'll explore and decode each of these quirky habits, not just to understand what's really going on, but to listen, connect, and respond with the kind of love that truly makes a difference. And if you're someone who wants to build a deeper bond with your dog every single day, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss more heartfelt and meaningful content like this. Let's begin with one behavior you've probably seen countless times, but may have completely misunderstood. The moment you open the door and step inside, before you can even put your bag down, you're greeted with an enthusiastic leap from your dog. While this behavior can be a bit overwhelming, especially with larger dogs, the message behind it couldn't be more heartwarming. I missed you so much. Dogs don't understand human manners. They don't know how to shake hands or bow politely. What they do know is this: jumping up brings them closer to your face, where your scent, your emotions, and your connection are the strongest. It's a behavior rooted in puppyhood, when they would jump to lick their mother's face, to seek attention or food. Now, they're just trying to grab a bit of affection from you. If this behavior becomes a problem, especially when guests come over, don't scold them. Instead, stay quiet, turn away, and only give attention once they've calmed down. With patience, your dog can learn how to show love without knocking anyone over. And then there are those moments when you're relaxing, and suddenly your dog starts chasing his tail like a whirlwind. It's hilarious to watch, but if it happens too often, pay attention. For puppies, tail chasing is usually just a fun game. Their tail is like a moving toy. But for adult dogs, especially those lacking physical or mental stimulation, this behavior might be a sign of boredom, stress, or even anxiety. Dogs can't scroll through TikTok or read a book like we do. They spin in circles to burn off energy or to soothe themselves. Try taking your dog outside more often, let them play with other dogs, or offer mentally stimulating toys. A busy brain usually means that tail will get a well-deserved break. And if you've ever witnessed your dog suddenly zooming around the house like a tornado, you've met the famous zoomies. No, it's not a system glitch. It's a real phenomenon with a scientific name, FRAPS, or frenetic random activity periods. Dogs often explode with energy after moments of restraint, like after a bath, a vet visit, or just being stuck indoors all day. But sometimes, it's simply their way of expressing pure, unfiltered joy, the excitement of being outside, playing, or just seeing you. If your home has enough space, let them run safely. If not, take them to a park or open yard. A little burst of wild energy in the right place is much better than a shredded sofa, don't you think? There's also that odd behavior during a walk. Right after your dog finishes doing his business, he suddenly starts scratching at the ground with intensity. You might think he's trying to cover up his work, but that's not entirely true. In fact, this is your dog's way of leaving a personal mark, like carving his name into an ancient wall. Dogs have scent glands in their paw pads, and by scratching the ground, they're releasing a unique smell, kind of like a scent-based business card for other dogs to pick up. It's not just about the smell. The visible scratch marks are a visual signal that says, "I was here." Both male and female dogs do this as a natural form of communication and territorial marking. If it happens frequently, there's no need to stop them. Just make sure they're not doing it on your living room carpet. What about when your dog licks your feet? That cold, wet sensation can feel strange or even a little gross for many people. But in a dog's world, this behavior is rich with meaning and emotion. Dogs have a special organ called the Jacobson's organ, which allows them to both smell and taste scents. And your feet? They carry a wealth of information through sweat glands, hormones, and pheromones. More than that, licking helps them feel close to you. It's a way to express love, to bond, or sometimes simply to get your attention. If you've just come home after a long day, licking your feet might be your dog's way of asking, "Where have you been today? Are you okay?" However, if this behavior becomes excessive or is paired with signs of anxiety, it might be time to help your dog release pent-up energy, or consult a behaviorist. Licking is a message, but the real reason lies deeper, in emotions they can't put into words. If licking feet is their way of communicating, there's another behavior that often leaves people exclaiming, "Oh no," and that's when a dog eats poop. As disturbing as it sounds, this isn't as rare as you might think. The behavior is called coprophagia, and it can actually trace back to early puppyhood. Mother dogs often clean up after their puppies by eating their waste, keeping the den clean and hygienic. Puppies observe this and sometimes imitate it. Later in life, if a dog is in a stressful environment, lacking stimulation, or simply bored, they might return to this behavior as a coping mechanism. Sometimes, they also do it to get your attention, since your reaction is usually dramatic. The solution is to calmly identify the root cause. It might be a nutritional deficiency, lack of mental engagement, or hidden anxiety. Give your dog a clean space, meaningful interaction, and, if needed, don't hesitate to ask your vet for guidance. But not all behaviors are unpleasant. Sometimes you'll witness something so tender, it stops you in your tracks. Your dog lying on his back, limbs stretched out, belly completely exposed. It's not just an adorable sleeping position. It's a declaration. I feel completely safe. In the dog world, the belly and throat are among the most vulnerable areas. A dog only exposes them when they fully trust you and feel no threat in their surroundings. This posture also helps regulate body temperature, especially on hot days, as the less furry skin allows heat to escape more easily. Next time you see this moment, don't just smile and walk past. Sit down beside your dog, gently rub their chest or neck. That's your way of saying, "I love and trust you too." That feeling of safety is also why many dogs love to lie under the sun. Some people joke that dogs sunbathe because they want to be like cats, but the truth is, it's a completely natural instinct. Dogs have a higher body temperature than humans, and sunlight helps them reach a comfortable, soothing warmth. But it's not just about staying warm. The sun provides several health benefits, from improving blood circulation by dilating blood vessels to easing muscle and joint pain, especially in older dogs. Sun exposure also helps boost melatonin production, a hormone that improves sleep quality. However, it's important to watch closely. If your dog starts panting heavily, lies in the sun too long, or shows signs of fatigue, guide them to the shade and offer some water. Warm sunshine is a friend, but without moderation, it can quickly become harmful. Now, from sunshine, let's return to your eyes. Those eyes your dog might stare into for long moments, even during the most private times, like when you're using the bathroom. Many people find this behavior puzzling or even a bit creepy, but it carries more meaning than you might think. When a dog is relieving itself, it's in a vulnerable position. That unwavering gaze isn't curiosity. It's a silent plea for protection. In wild packs, vulnerable members are guarded by others while they're distracted or off guard. So when your dog looks at you during these moments, it's essentially saying, "Please watch over me." There's no need to overreact. A gentle glance, or simply staying nearby, is often enough to reassure them. It's a small gesture, but one that strengthens your bond with your dog. It's a quiet trust, spoken without words, yet deeply powerful. Sometimes that trust manifests in more physical ways, like when your dog cuddles right up against you while sleeping. They press their back into you, breathing softly, maybe even letting out little sighs or dream sounds. It's not because they lack space. It's because you are their safe place. Since puppyhood, dogs have slept close to their mother and litter mates to stay warm and feel connected. As they grow up, they replace their mother with you. When your dog curls up against you at night, it's a clear sign they feel loved, protected, and deeply bonded. If it gets a little cramped, feel free to gently adjust their position, but don't push them away harshly. To them, this is the most intimate moment of the day. Of course, not every moment is cozy cuddles. There are also times when your dog suddenly trembles or shivers at the sound of thunder, fireworks, or even a vacuum cleaner. For us, these are just loud noises, but for dogs, whose hearing is many times more sensitive, it's a full-blown soundstorm. Shaking, flinching, or running to hide are natural survival responses, similar to how you might react if you heard a sudden loud bang in the middle of the night. To your dog, these sounds are unpredictable and uncontrollable. Their sympathetic nervous system kicks in immediately, heart racing, breathing fast, muscles tensing. Watch for these reactions and step in to comfort them. A gentle hug, a cozy hideaway, or just your calm presence can help ease their nerves. Don't try to force your dog to get used to the noise. Fear, just like in humans, is not something that can be trained away with pressure. From sound to movement, one behavior that often worries dog owners is when their dog shakes their head repeatedly. At first, it might seem harmless, but if it happens frequently, it could be a sign that something's wrong with their ears. Head shaking is a natural reflex to get rid of discomfort, often caused by a foreign object in the ear, an infection, or a weather-related allergy. Sometimes, a buildup of wax or moisture after a bath can also lead to itchiness. Check your dog's ears with a quick visual inspection. Is there a strange odor, redness, or swelling? If so, don't attempt to treat it with human eardrops. Take your dog to the vet for a proper checkup. The ears are a sensitive area, and frequent head shaking is often a silent signal of discomfort they're struggling to cope with on their own. Once your dog feels better, you might catch them doing something both hilarious and puzzling, carrying objects around the house and hiding them in the oddest places, under pillows, behind the sofa, or even inside the laundry basket. This isn't just playful mischief. It's actually a leftover survival instinct. In the wild, dogs' ancestors used to hide food or prized items to protect them from being stolen. Today, that instinct shows up in the form of hiding toys, slippers, or anything they consider valuable. Instead of scolding, take a closer look. What is the item? Does it smell like you? If so, it might be your dog's way of keeping a piece of you close, even when you're away. And if you'd rather not lose your favorite socks to some mysterious corner of the house, provide your dog with designated toys they can carry and hide to their heart's content. There's another behavior many dog owners have witnessed, one that pulls at the heartstrings. It's the soft, quiet whining when your dog is left alone. The sound may not be loud, but it's enough to make your heart ache, imagining them waiting behind the door for your return. Dogs are pack animals, and separation from someone they love can create feelings of loneliness and insecurity. Whining is their way of self-soothing or trying to call you back. If left unaddressed, it can escalate into separation anxiety, leading to non-stop barking, scratching at doors, or even destructive behavior. Start by practicing short periods of separation. Give them chew toys or play calming music when you leave. If the behavior continues, consult a professional dog trainer or behaviorist, because excessive attachment, while touching, can become an emotional burden for both dogs and humans. And then, on a beautiful sunny day, you might find your dog rolling blissfully in the grass, rubbing their body into the dirt, or worse, into a dead animal. You shout, "That's disgusting!" but your dog looks absolutely thrilled. This odd habit goes back to their wild roots. Dogs used to roll in strange smells to mask their own scent and approach prey undetected. Today, that instinct still exists, though it's less about hunting and more about expressing freedom and feeling in control of their environment. Don't scold them. They're not trying to get dirty on purpose. Just give them a gentle bath, use mild soap, and maybe steer them toward cleaner patches of grass next time. And if you can't avoid it, try to smile. At least they're living fully, joyfully, and true to their nature. Then there are the silent behaviors, the ones that leave you tilting your head and wondering, what on earth is he doing? One such moment is when your dog suddenly starts barking at the mirror or the TV screen. This typically happens with younger dogs who haven't had enough experience to understand that reflections aren't real. When they see movement, especially their own reflection or another animal on screen, they react as if it's a potential threat. That barking is a natural response, guarding their territory or expressing uncertainty toward something unfamiliar. The best approach is not to panic or make a fuss. Instead, gently redirect their attention with a toy or a familiar action. Over time, they'll learn that the mirror doesn't bite, and the barking will stop. From reacting to mirrors to something even more subtle, you might sometimes notice your dog panting heavily, even when it's not that hot. Don't be too quick to assume it's just tiredness. It might actually be their way of self-soothing. Panting helps dogs regulate their body temperature, but it can also be a reflex triggered when the nervous system is activated due to stress, fear, or overstimulation. In noisy or unfamiliar environments, or when left alone, you may notice faster breathing and a tongue hanging out more than usual. Pay attention to the surroundings. If your dog is panting in an unfamiliar space, try bringing them back to somewhere familiar. If you're on a walk, slow down and speak to them gently. Sometimes, just your presence is enough to slow every racing heartbeat. And what about vacuum cleaners? A sworn enemy of many dogs. The moment you turn it on, your dog might bolt, bark furiously, or hide behind the sofa as if an earthquake just hit. It's not surprising. High-frequency vibrations and loud sounds from vacuum cleaners go far beyond a dog's comfort zone. These noises aren't just unpleasant, they can feel threatening. You can help your dog get used to it by turning the vacuum on from a distance, avoiding forced proximity, and rewarding calm behavior. But more importantly, respect their feelings. If you need to clean, simply take your dog for a walk. Your home gets cleaner, and so does their mind. In more peaceful moments, you may witness something that melts your heart. Your dog quietly sitting with its back turned toward you. It's not a sign of indifference or anger. It's actually the deepest form of trust. In the dog world, turning their back is a gesture of confidence. It means they don't feel threatened, don't need to keep an eye on you, and are ready to watch over what's ahead. Like a loyal guard, Your dog faces forward because it knows you're safely behind them. That small gesture is a powerful symbol of a bond that needs no words. Next time you see it, gently place your hand on their back, a way to say, "I've got your back too." And finally, one of the most common but misunderstood behaviors, when your dog stretches every time you come home. It's not just a casual stretch after a nap. It's a deeply emotional gesture. That full-body stretch, lowering the front while keeping the back raised, also known as the playbow, is your dog's way of saying they're excited, inviting you to play, and telling you, "I'm so happy you're back." It's a silent greeting, a joyful welcome you can respond to with eye contact, a soft voice, or a few minutes of play. In that moment, all the weariness of the day fades away, because you know there's a little creature who waited just to stretch and smile when they saw you. As you can see, every behavior, whether strange, funny, or confusing, is your dog's way of trying to communicate, love, and connect with you. They don't know how to speak or write, but every lick, bark, whimper, and glance while you're in the bathroom is a language full of emotion. Understanding that turns you from just a pet owner into a true companion, someone your dog trusts enough to give their entire short, beautiful life to. If any of these behaviors feel familiar, leave a comment and share the one that touched your heart the most. And if you want to dive deeper into the signs that show how much your dog truly loves you, watch the next video below. You might be surprised to learn there are signs that your dog loves you even more than you ever imagined. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video that helps you understand and love your dog better every single day. Have you ever wondered why your dog licks your hands day after day without fail? It's not the salt on your skin. It's not the scent of food. The answer is much more powerful than that. Because behind that one small act could be an emotional truth you've never fully noticed. If you've always thought it was just a harmless habit, you may have missed one of the purest ways your dog says, "I love you." In this video, we're going to explore 40 quiet but meaningful behaviors, things your dog does only when their love runs deep. These aren't tricks. They're not learned commands. They're instinctive gestures of loyalty, trust, and deep emotional connection. And number 10, that one alone has brought tears to the eyes of dog lovers who finally understood what their companion had been trying to say all along. So, if you've ever felt like your dog sees into your soul, if you've ever caught them watching you, like you're their whole world, hit subscribe. Because once you learn what these signs really mean, you'll never see your dog the same way again. And it all begins with something you've likely felt 100 times, but never paused to truly understand: that familiar gentle lick on your hand. It usually happens when you're not even thinking about it. Early morning, maybe you're still sipping your coffee, and there it is, that gentle lick on your knuckles. It's not dramatic. It's not playful. It's quiet, intentional. Like your dog is saying, "You're still here. Good." You might have brushed it off thinking it's about the leftover crumbs or your skin's salt, but science says otherwise. In a 2017 study on human-animal interaction, researchers found that brief moments of affectionate contact like licking or gentle touch increased oxytocin levels in both the dog and the human. Oxytocin is often called the love hormone, and it's central to emotional bonding. So when your dog licks your hands each morning, it's not habit. It's not begging. It's biology. It's loyalty. It's love in molecular form. And for dogs who don't speak our language, that lick is how they say, "We're still us." And if you felt that lick and didn't realize what it meant, just wait until you learn what's behind the way they look into your eyes. It catches you off guard sometimes. You look up from reading or washing dishes, and your dog is just there, watching you, not moving, not asking, just being. Their gaze is soft, unblinking, calm. It's not a stare for dominance. It's a gift. In 2015, researchers from Azabu University in Japan discovered that when dogs and their humans share mutual eye contact, both experience a spike in oxytocin, the same chemical released when a mother looks into her newborn's eyes. This isn't random, it's evolutionary. Over thousands of years, dogs learned that gazing gently into a human's eyes builds trust and deepens connection. So when your dog stares at you like that, it's not because they're waiting. It's because they're with you, fully, silently, soulfully. But if you think that kind of love only shows up when you're awake, wait until you feel it while you're asleep. You settle into bed, the house goes quiet, and within minutes, there's a familiar weight behind you or a nudge near your feet. Some dogs curl right into your spine. Others burrow under the covers like a child seeking warmth. But make no mistake, this isn't just about being cozy. For pack animals, sleeping close is a survival instinct. It means safety, trust, belonging. And when your dog chooses your body over their own bed, every single night, they're saying, "You are my safest place." Studies show that sleeping near a bonded human reduces stress levels in dogs, lowers heart rate, and promotes emotional regulation. In return, humans often experience better sleep quality and lower nighttime anxiety. It's more than a nap. It's an unspoken ritual of love. But if you think their need to stay close ends at bedtime, wait until you see how far they'll follow you. From the kitchen to the bathroom, from porch to garage, there they are. Not asking, just following. Step for step. No matter how mundane the task. And while some people laugh it off as clinginess, older men who live with dogs know the truth, it's devotion. In the wild pack, members move together. Always. The leader moves, the others follow. And in your dog's eyes, you are that leader, the heartbeat of the home. Some breeds, like labs and shepherds, are more prone to this shadowing behavior, but the reason runs deeper than genetics. Dogs follow because they want proximity to safety, to meaning, to you. Emotional research shows that dogs form secure base effects with trusted humans, much like infants with parents. They're not invading your space. They're anchoring to it. And if you ever doubted how emotionally tuned in your dog is, just notice what they do when you go quiet. You're not eating. You're not holding a treat. You're just sitting. And then, a soft weight on your leg. No whining, no bark, just a paw. Resting, reassuring. This tiny gesture is often misunderstood as attention-seeking, but with older dogs, especially those who've lived years by your side, it's something else entirely. It's check-in behavior. It's emotional mirroring. Experts in canine communication call it anchoring touch, a way for your dog to ask, "Are we still okay? Are you okay?" Just like a friend might squeeze your shoulder without a word, your dog places that paw, not because they want something, but because they're giving something presence. Stability, a moment of unspoken comfort. And if a simple paw can say that much, imagine what it means when they start bringing you gifts. It's the end of a long day. You finally sit down, maybe with a cold drink in hand, and here they come, your dog proudly dropping an old toy, or maybe a sock at your feet. It's dirty, ragged, not a thing you'd ever ask for. But they look at you like they've just handed over treasure. And in a way, they have. This isn't a game. It's not about playing fetch. It's instinct. In the wild, wolves bring back pieces of prey to the pack, not just to share food, but to reinforce trust and unity. Domestic dogs have kept that behavior for one reason: love. When your dog gives you something, especially something personal, like your own sock, it's their awkward, deeply sincere way of saying, "You matter." I want to share What makes me happy? It's not a gift of value, it's a gift of meaning. And it means you've earned their trust at a level that can't be trained. And if that small, slobbery offering touched your heart, wait until you see what it means when they guard your feet like sacred ground. Maybe you've noticed it before. A friend comes over, or a delivery driver stops by. You're standing there chatting, and without a sound, your dog parks themselves right at your feet. They're not barking. They're not growling. But they're there, firm, present. That's not just affection, it's instinctual loyalty. Dogs have a pack-based hierarchy. Sitting at your feet is symbolic. It places them in the role of sentinel protector, second in command. And it's no accident they choose that position when others are near. Especially in older dogs, this behavior says, "I've got you." It's not taught. It's not trained. It's earned through years of emotional connection. And sometimes they'll glance up at you, waiting for a sign that everything's fine. Because in their world, guarding you silently is part of love. But if you think they only speak through actions, watch what happens when you speak first. You're telling a story. Maybe out loud. Maybe just thinking aloud while fixing something in the garage. And there it is, that slight, curious head tilt. One ear forward, eyes locked on you. It's adorable, sure, but it's also neurological. Dogs tilt their heads to better localize sounds and interpret emotional tone. They're trying to understand not just what you say, but how you feel when you say it. A 2021 study from Hungary found that some dogs, especially those with strong bonds to their humans, can remember and differentiate words by sound. But more than language, they read rhythm, pitch, emotion. So when your dog tilts their head at you, it's not because you said something silly. It's because they're listening with everything they've got. Their ears, their eyes, their heart. And if you think they only respond in conversation, pay attention to the quiet moments when all they do is watch. This one catches many dog owners off guard. You're relaxing, maybe on the couch or bed, and your dog gently nudges toward your face, sometimes licking your eyelids or mouth with eerie precision. It might feel strange, but it's a primal gesture. In wild packs, wolves lick each other's faces to express submission affection and to check on health. Your dog doesn't do this to everyone, just you. The one they trust enough to get that close, that vulnerable. Biologically, dogs have millions of scent receptors. They pick up hormonal changes in your sweat, your breath, even your tears. So a lick near the eyes might mean they're checking in. Are you okay? And around the mouth? That's reserved for family. For pack leaders, it's respect, it's comfort, it's care. But if you've ever seen them lick you, and then whimper as you leave the room, you've only seen half the story. You're not even out the door yet, just grabbing your keys or slipping on your shoes. And behind you, there's a soft sound, barely audible, a whimper. It's not dramatic, not a tantrum, just pain, emotional pain. Studies on canine separation anxiety have shown that bonded dogs show physical signs of distress when their person leaves, even briefly. Their cortisol levels spike. Heart rate increases. But dogs don't just cry because you're leaving. They cry because they can't come with you. Because the bond you've built isn't something they can switch off. To them, separation isn't logical. It's emotional rupture. And that tiny whimper, that's the sound of a heart quietly breaking every time you turn the doorknob. But love doesn't only show itself when you're gone. Sometimes it shows when you're still, and they choose to breathe right beside you. You've dozed off, not in a deep sleep, just resting in the recliner or on the couch. And there they are, your dog lying beside you. Quiet, still, breathing. At first you don't notice it, but if you sit with it long enough, something remarkable happens. Their breathing starts to sync with yours. Slow inhale. Gentle exhale. It's not a coincidence. A study from the University of Helsinki found that dogs adjust their physiological state in response to their owner's emotional and physical cues. That includes matching heart rate variability and even breathing rhythms. This is what emotional co-regulation looks like. They don't need to know what you're feeling, they feel it. And in that silent rhythm, they're saying, "I'm with you," no matter what pace you're moving today. But that kind of quiet connection doesn't just happen when you're relaxed. Sometimes it shows up strongest when you're in pain. You didn't call them, you didn't say a word, but they knew. Maybe you winced getting out of bed. Maybe your shoulders slumped just a little more than usual. And suddenly, your dog is there. Not barking, not pushing, just watching, hovering, checking. Dogs are masters at reading micro-signals, changes in posture, breathing, even scent. One 2018 study in the journal Learning and Behavior showed that dogs with a strong bond to their humans were significantly more likely to cross a barrier to help when they perceived distress, even if they didn't fully understand the cause. In simpler terms, your dog notices pain before you admit you're in it. And they come close not to fix it, but to carry part of it. With you, for you, silently. And if that kind of empathy moved you, just wait until you feel it resting right on your chest. There's something sacred about pressure on the chest. Weighted blankets therapists say help ease anxiety, but dogs figured that out long before we did. When your dog places their head, or sometimes their whole upper body on your chest, it's more than a cuddle. It's a recalibration. Dogs can hear your heartbeat. They can feel your breath rise and fall. And when they place themselves over your chest, they are synchronizing. Researchers studying service dogs for veterans with PTSD have long observed this behavior. It's a self-guided way dogs try to soothe emotional unrest. But even without training, your dog knows. They feel the turbulence, and they offer their heartbeat in exchange for yours. It's not comfort, they become your comfort. And if you think that's tender, wait until they start speaking the language of their youth with a playful bite that holds no pain. It starts softly. A playful nibble on your sleeve. A light mouthing of your wrist. No pressure. No intention to harm. Just contact. These love bites are not random. They're inherited from puppyhood when littermates played, explored, and learned the rules of touch. When your dog gives you this kind of bite, it's not aggression, it's intimacy. It's their way of saying, "We're family. I trust you to know this is love." Behavioral experts note that adult dogs rarely use this gesture unless they feel extremely safe. You're not just their companion, you're their playmate, their sibling, their pack. And in a world where humans sometimes struggle to find words, this tiny act says, "You and me, we still understand each other without saying a thing." But if their love can show through a bite, imagine what it means when they wake you just to make sure you're still with them. It might happen in the middle of the night, or during an afternoon nap. A cold nose, a gentle paw. Not frantic, not loud, just enough to stir you. Your dog isn't asking for food or a walk. They're checking in. Dogs are sensitive to subtle changes in breath temperature, even energy. And sometimes when you drift into a sleep that feels different, too deep, too still, they worry. And they reach out. It's protective, yes, but it's also deeply emotional. In older dogs especially, this behavior becomes more frequent. It's their way of making sure their world, the person they love, is still okay, still breathing, still here. And when you open your eyes and see them watching you, ears relaxed, tail wagging softly, that's relief. Not theirs, yours. Because the next time they do it, it might come with something surprising in their mouth, something you never expected they'd care about. It's laundry day. You toss a pile of old t-shirts and socks on the floor, turn your back for 1 second, and there they are. Your dog burrowed right into it, nose deep, breathing in like they're home. To some, it looks silly, maybe even a little gross. But to your dog, that scent, your scent is sanctuary. Dogs possess up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our 6 million, and they don't just recognize smells, they feel through them. Dirty clothes aren't dirty to your dog, they're familiar, safe, comforting. A study on canine separation behaviors showed that dogs left with their owners' worn clothing displayed fewer signs of anxiety and restlessness. So, when your dog curls into your worn flannel or lays their head on your work pants, they're not being mischievous. They're holding on to the part of you they love most, your essence. But if that connection can hold through scent alone, imagine the depth of love in their watchful eyes when you're just beyond the glass. You step outside for a moment, maybe, to check the mail, sweep the porch, or water the garden, and there behind the glass stands your dog. Not barking, not pacing, just watching. Steady, still, waiting. That gaze isn't about impatience. It's about reassurance. For dogs, sight is a way of anchoring. When they can see you even from a distance, it signals, you're okay. We're still connected. A 2023 study found that dogs experience elevated oxytocin and dopamine levels even during passive visual contact with their owners. This means even looking at you from afar lights up their brain's reward system. For older men living alone, that quiet figure behind the window isn't just a pet. It's proof someone's always watching out for them. But if their love can span a pane of glass, wait until you see the devotion behind the bathroom door. It's one of those oddly tender things you don't notice until it becomes routine. You close the bathroom door, and within minutes, maybe seconds, there's a sound. A shuffle, a soft huff, and then silence. Because they're there, right outside. Not scratching, not whining, just waiting. It's not about fear of abandonment. It's about commitment. Dogs are pack animals. In the wild, no one wanders off alone, especially not the leader. So when you disappear, even for 5 minutes, your dog follows the rule, stay close, stay ready. And when they wait outside that door, it's not because they think you're in danger. It's because part of them can't fully rest until you're whole again. And if you think that's loyalty, just wait until someone else tries to hug you, and they step in without warning. It's family. It's a friend. Maybe it's your granddaughter running up to give you a hug, and suddenly your dog is alert. A quick bark, a stiff tail, maybe even a gentle push between you and the other person. You laugh, reassure them. She's just being protective. But there's more to it. In the canine world, sudden physical contact is interpreted as tension or conflict. And when your dog sees someone touching you, especially if they don't understand the context, their loyalty kicks in. Not to attack, but to assess, to protect. To say, I don't know what this is, but I'm here if it's not okay. Behavioral scientists have observed this protective behavior, especially in dogs who bond with a single person, often men who live alone or in quiet companionship. These dogs don't see themselves as pets. They see themselves as guardians. And if their instinct to protect is that strong in action, imagine the quiet strategy behind where and how they choose to rest. You're watching the news, reading a book, or maybe just staring out the window, not thinking much at all. And your dog? They're not at your feet, not curled into your lap. They're across the room, lying still, but facing the door. Always the door. It's subtle, easy to miss, but it's intentional. In wolf packs, a sentinel always rests with eyes on the perimeter. It's a position of service, of readiness, of silent watchfulness. Your dog doesn't need to bark or stand guard to show they care. Sometimes their love is in how they position themselves between you and the world. Just in case. For many older men, this simple act barely noticed is one of the deepest forms of affection they'll ever receive. But if you think that quiet posture is protective, wait until you feel what happens when a stranger steps too close and they rise without a sound. You're out on the porch or walking through the park. A stranger approaches maybe with a smile, maybe with a question, and almost before you realize it, your dog has moved. Just one step, just enough to place their body between yours and theirs. They don't bark, they don't growl, but they stand firm. That's not training. That's not chance. That's love turned into instinct. Protection doesn't always mean aggression. It means awareness. And to your dog, your space is sacred. In behavioral studies, this interpositional stance is a known sign of emotional protection, most often seen in dogs with strong, singular bonds to one person, especially older men who live quietly. Dogs sense energy, body language, emotional shifts, and they act before words are ever spoken. But if they'd position themselves like a shield when someone new arrives, wait until you see how they react when your mood starts to shift behind closed doors. It's subtle. You're heading for the door maybe after a difficult call, or with that quiet tension in your shoulders that only your dog seems to notice. And suddenly, they step into your path. Not aggressively, not demanding, just in the way, blocking you. Dogs do this when they sense anxiety, frustration, or emotional unrest. It's called interruption behavior, and it's not about stopping you from leaving. It's about checking, are you sure you want to go right now? Studies of psychiatric service dogs show this instinct in highly bonded dogs, even those without training. They sense elevated heart rate, cortisol shifts, and changes in gait or breathing. For an older man who rarely shares his feelings aloud, this quiet block in the hallway might be the only thing that keeps him from walking out upset and instead stopping to take a breath. But if they'll interrupt your steps when something feels off, wait until you see how they watch your back when you're on the move. You're walking through the yard, down the dirt road, maybe just pacing back and forth on the porch, and your dog does something you didn't teach them. They walk ahead, then stop. Turn back. Make eye contact. Wait. They're not just being polite. They're patrolling. This checking back behavior is rooted in pack movement. The leader sets the direction, but the rest of the group constantly ensures no one's left behind. In domestic dogs, especially those with older, slower-moving owners, this becomes a protective ritual. A quiet scan. You good? In a study of off-leash dog behavior, dogs with strong attachments to their humans showed significantly higher rates of return checking, even without recall commands. It's not obedience. It's love turned into vigilance. But if they'll glance back over their shoulder just to make sure you're still there, wait until the sky rumbles and they choose you over their own fear. The thunder rolls in. The lights flicker. Maybe the roof rattles. And you brace for it knowing your dog has always been afraid of storms. But this time, they stay. Right next to you. They tremble. Maybe pant a little. But they don't leave. Because as afraid as they are, they've decided you matter more. This is called protective override, when an animal chooses connection over instinctual fear. Studies in animal behavior have shown that emotionally bonded dogs will sometimes suppress their own flight response in favor of guarding a person they love, especially if that person appears calm or conversely vulnerable. For older men who've spent years beside that same dog through every kind of weather, this moment hits different. Because you know they'd run if they could. But they won't. Not tonight. Not while you're here. And if they'll put their fear second to stay beside you, wait until you hear the sound they make when someone raises their voice in your presence. You didn't even realize your voice had risen. Or maybe someone else's did first. A disagreement, frustration, the kind of tone shift that dogs pick up before humans even process it. And from the corner of the room, a low sound, controlled, barely audible, but unmistakable, a growl. Your dog doesn't lunge, doesn't bark, but they're there, between you, saying, "I'm watching, I'm here." Behavioral studies confirm that dogs don't just react to volume, they interpret tension, emotional threat. They understand that tone, posture, even face shape can indicate rising stress. And when they sense that you're on the receiving end, they engage. Not to escalate, but to warn. Not him. Not now. For many men who live alone, this moment is both startling and humbling. Because even when you don't ask to be protected, someone steps up anyway. And if that soft growl made your heart swell, wait until you see what happens when food becomes secondary to staying by your side. It's dinner time. Their favorite bowl is full. But instead of eating, they trail behind you. One step, then another. You pause, and so do they. You move, and they're right there. You might laugh and say, "Eat silly," but they won't. Not until you're still. Not until they've made sure you're okay. For dogs, food is survival. To walk away from it isn't just discipline, it's devotion. In behavioral studies, dogs in high-bond households often prioritize proximity to their human over natural impulses like eating or sleeping. Especially in senior dogs, this act speaks volumes. "I'll eat later. Right now, I choose you." It's a behavior most pet owners miss. But for those who notice it, lingers. Because it says without drama or noise, you come first. But if that silent choice moved you, wait until you see the moments they anticipate something you haven't even said. It's something only certain dog owners have seen, and once you see it, you never forget. A dog who reacts before anything happens. They nudge you, circle, whine, lay their head in your lap. And minutes later, a seizure or a blood sugar drop or a dizzy spell. You hadn't noticed, but they did. Dogs have an extraordinary ability to detect chemical changes in the human body through scent energy and behavior. Medical alert dogs are trained for this, but many untrained dogs have done it purely through instinct. In a 2019 study published in Scientific Reports, dogs detected seizure precursors through subtle behavioral and scent cues well before visible symptoms began. It's not magic. It's biology bonded with loyalty. If your dog has ever behaved strangely before, you felt off, don't brush it aside. They're watching you more closely than you watch yourself. And if they can detect an unseen shift in your body, wait until you feel them wake you from a storm that lives only in your mind. You're asleep, deep, tossing, turning, maybe sweating, and through the dark you feel it, a gentle nudge, a paw, a warm nose against your cheek. You open your eyes, and there they are, ears slightly back, eyes soft, watching. They didn't bark. They didn't panic. They just woke you, not to play, not for food, but because they knew something was wrong. Dogs are exquisitely tuned to the emotional rhythms of those they love. Research in PTSD service dogs shows that they learn often without formal training to interrupt nightmares by detecting restless movement, vocal stress, or shallow breathing. But even without the title service dog, many loyal companions do this on their own. Especially for older owners who live alone, that midnight nudge isn't a disruption, it's a rescue. And if they'd pull you from a dream to bring you back to peace, wait until you see how they sit by your side when your body needs time to heal. It doesn't matter if it's a fever, a surgery, or just a bad cold. Your dog knows. Long before you say a word, they've already adjusted. They're quieter, calmer. They stay close, but not demanding. If you move, they move. If you sigh, they lift their head. And if you're too weak to speak, they don't need words. They're already listening. Studies show dogs can detect changes in body scent associated with illness down to shifts in hormones, immune responses, and skin chemistry. But beyond biology, what matters is presence. They could be in another room. They could relax elsewhere. But they don't. Because when you're not at full strength, they step up not with action, but with quiet loyalty. And if that silent watch at your bedside wasn't already enough, listen closely to the sound they make when your heart breaks and you think no one else hears it. You're sitting still, maybe holding your face, maybe letting out that low, cracked breath that only comes from real pain, and suddenly, your dog is there, tense, still. Then, a low growl. Not at you, not from fear, but toward the world, toward the feeling. It's a response many dog owners have never seen until grief shows up. Dogs process human emotion through scent and sound, yes, but also through empathy. When they sense distress, their protective instinct activates. For some, it's licking, for others leaning in. But in highly bonded dogs, especially older ones, a soft growl while you're crying is their way of saying, "I don't know who hurt you, but I'm here if they come back." It's not aggression. It's a statement, a vow, a line drawn. And if that growl carried the weight of love, wait until their next move says, "I feel what you feel," even when you say nothing at all. You're sitting there, not saying much, not moving either. Maybe you're lost in thought or something heavier. And then you feel it. A soft nudge. The wet press of their nose against your hand. It's not asking for anything. It's reminding you, "I'm here." This behavior is known as emotional interruption. Dogs especially, those bonded closely to one human, are extremely adept at detecting stress patterns. Changes in posture, breath, scent, even how your hands sit still too long. Their nose isn't just investigating, it's reaching out. Studies from the University of Lincoln show dogs can differentiate between human emotions using chemical cues and facial expressions. And when they sense anxiety, that gentle nose isn't a command. It's connection. A way to bring you back to the room, to them, to the safety of we. But if a single nudge can anchor you in the present, imagine what it means when they wait by the door long before you're even supposed to be home. You didn't tell them. You didn't leave a note. But they knew. The clock ticks past your usual return, and they're already there, waiting, eyes on the door, ears perked, pacing maybe. Not frantic, just alert. It's not magic, it's memory, routine, attachment. But it's more than that. In a 2020 study on canine time perception, dogs were shown to anticipate owner returns based on scent, fading, and circadian rhythms. But waiting isn't just about time. It's about hope. It's about presence. It's about holding space for someone they trust to come back. For many men who live alone, that dog waiting by the door isn't just a pet, it's proof that someone always looks forward to them. And if their anticipation can stretch across hours, wait until you see the reverence in the way they respond when you're hurt. It's an old myth, but one that science partially confirms. Dogs lick wounds, not just theirs, but yours. And while modern medicine advises caution, the gesture itself means something ancient. In the wild, wolves groom injured packmates, cleaning, soothing, bonding. That instinct remains. When your dog sees a bandage, a scrape, a bruise, they don't understand infection, but they understand pain. And their reaction, do something, be near, offer contact. Some studies even suggest dog saliva contains histatins, proteins, with mild antimicrobial properties. But deeper than biology is intent. It's care, reverence, an urge to heal not with medicine but with presence. And if their love can reach into pain, wait until you see what they do when eye contact becomes the only language they need. You've been distant, maybe inside your head, maybe buried in the day's worries, and they feel it. So they pace, not aimlessly, but back and forth, pausing, looking, trying to catch your eyes. Because for dogs, eye contact is not about dominance, it's about connection. In the oxytocin loop, first observed by Dr. Miho Nagasawa's team in Japan, mutual gazing between dogs and humans leads to an emotional feedback loop, a biological bond. When your dog paces until you look up, they're not being annoying. They're asking, "Do we still see each other?" And when your eyes finally meet, the pacing stops. Peace settles. It's not obedience, it's reunion. And if your gaze can quiet their entire body, wait until you see how they use their own to shield you even while sleeping. It seems small, a dog lying in the hallway, or curled in the corner of your room, but not facing you, facing the door. It's not a fluke, it's instinct. In wolf packs, the sentinel always rests where they can see danger coming. When your dog positions themselves toward the entrance, it's not to be alone, it's to protect. Especially in older, more bonded dogs, this sleeping orientation is chosen. Deliberate. A decision that says, if anything comes through that door, I'll know first. They could be on your bed, but they choose the floor. They choose vigilance. Because even when they rest, their love doesn't. And if they face the world so you don't have to, wait until they mirror even the smallest of your reflexes, like a yawn. It's subtle, almost funny if you don't think too hard about it. You yawn, and they yawn right after. Maybe even with a little stretch. You smile. Are you copying me? In a way they are. But not to be silly. To connect. This is called contagious yawning, and it's a rare phenomenon in the animal world only observed in species capable of emotional empathy. Studies from the University of Tokyo found that dogs are more likely to catch yawns from their owners than from strangers. And the deeper the bond, the stronger the response. It's not mimicry, it's mirroring. A quiet primal way to say, I feel you. For many older men living in quieter homes, this unexpected echo of behavior is a moment of simple magic. A reminder that even when words fail, emotion doesn't. But if they copy something as quiet as a breath, wait until they offer you something far louder, total surrender. They roll over, expose their underside, eyes soft, tail still. And while it might look like a simple request for a belly rub, it's not always that. It's a gesture of trust. The belly is the most vulnerable part of a dog's body. No creature, especially one built on survival, exposes it unless they feel completely safe. When your dog does this around you, especially in calm settings, they're saying something deeper than, rub me. They're saying, I'm yours. I trust you with my life. Ethologists point out that this behavior, especially when unaccompanied by a playful wag, is rooted in submission, but not fear-based. It's love-based, deference, peace. And for someone who's never known that kind of quiet trust from another human, this silent offering can mean more than words. But if that stillness touched you, wait until they bring movement into the mix unprompted and full of meaning. It's a small gesture, but it stops you in your tracks. Your dog shows up with their leash, or nudges their water bowl toward you. No bark, no pawing, just a gentle push. A silent suggestion. Want to walk. You forgot this. At first it seems like training. But then you realize you didn't teach them this. They taught themselves. Because they've learned your rhythms. They know when it's time. And more than that, they want to share the moment with you. Cognitive behavior studies show that dogs are capable of understanding routine and responding with context-driven actions, not just cues. When they bring you something, it's not just desire, it's communication, it's invitation, it's partnership. But if that offering spoke volumes, wait until you see how they say everything by doing nothing at all. There's a kind of grief that doesn't need sobs, the kind that comes with long stares and quiet rooms. And that's when they appear. Not wagging, not whining, just there, awake, watching, present. Dogs can sleep most of the day, but during your lowest moments, they often don't. They stay alert, not because they're restless, but because you are. They don't interrupt. They accompany. Psychologists have referred to this behavior as emotionally attuned presence, and it's one of the clearest signs of deep empathy in animals. They're not trying to fix you. They're staying near until you find your footing again. And sometimes, that's the only medicine you need. But if that silence spoke comfort, their next gesture will say, even your quietest emotions deserve a response. You haven't moved in a while, maybe lost in thought, maybe just numb. And then a sound, a soft, breathy whine, not high-pitched, not needy, just checking. Along with it, a slow, rhythmic tap of the tail. It's not asking for anything. It's reminding, I still see you. I still hear you. And I'm still here. This behavior often surfaces in older dogs, those who've learned the value of patience over play. They know how to wait, but they also know how to reach across silence. Behavioral scientists note that tail tapping and soft vocalizations are low-level attention cues often used between bonded animals to re-establish connection. No demand, just invitation. And for anyone who's ever sat in stillness, wondering if anyone notices they do, your dog does. Always. Because love for them isn't something they show only when it's convenient. It's something they live, every day, without condition. You thought it was just a lick, just a paw, just a glance from across the room. But now, you know it's never just anything with them. Every action, every still moment, every nudge, every breath synced with yours. It was love. Not the loud kind, not the flashy kind, but the kind that stays, that notices when you don't say a word, that chooses you every single day without needing a reason. Maybe you didn't plan to fall in love with a dog. Maybe you thought you were just giving them a home. But if your dog does even 5 of the things we've talked about, you haven't just given them a life. You've become their whole world. And that deserves to be honored. So tell us in the comments, how does your dog say, I love you, without a single word? And if any of this felt true to your life, if you saw your own dog in these stories, hit subscribe. Because here, we don't just talk about dogs, we listen to them, we live with them, and we love them back, with everything we've got. Buddy has lived with me for 12 years. As an old, lazy, and loyal Labrador, Buddy always lies under the foot of the sofa every night I watch TV. I used to think, I understand everything about him. But then, one day, I accidentally slipped in the kitchen and scraped my knee. While I was rummaging through the first aid kit, Buddy quietly approached and started licking the wound. I smiled and thought, good, I'm helping you heal. But that seemingly adorable action made me sick a few days later. It was then that I learned dog saliva, although it contains antibacterial enzymes, also carries billions of other bacteria that old people like me should not ignore. And this is just one of many half-truths that we, people who have loved dogs all our lives, still believe. If you've ever let your dog lick its wounds, believed it relied on you for its absolute love, or thought hugging was the best way to show affection, this video might surprise you. Not because what you're doing is wrong, but because understanding more can help you protect your best friend better than ever. Let's get started. And let me ask you this. Do you believe that all dogs can swim? You've probably seen it in movies or cartoons, a dog joyfully jumping into a lake, paddling along like a seasoned swimmer. And if you've owned a retriever, that might seem perfectly true. But let me tell you about Molly, my neighbor's bulldog. One sunny afternoon, she followed their kids to the backyard pool, slipped in, and immediately sank like a rock. Luckily, someone was there to pull her out. We often assume all dogs can swim just because some breeds love the water. But the truth is, not every dog is built for it. Dogs like retrievers and spaniels have webbed feet and strong chests, designed by nature to glide through water. But others, like bulldogs, pugs, or dachshunds, with short legs, barrel chests, or flat faces, struggle terribly. They tire quickly, panic easily, and can drown in minutes. According to the American Kennel Club, swimming is not an instinct every dog is born with. And older adults, like many of us, might not realize that even the friendliest pup could be at risk in a backyard pool or lake. Instead of assuming, try this. Get a proper doggy life jacket. Introduce your dog to shallow water gradually. Watch for signs of stress, not just wagging tails. Because sometimes, what looks like fun is actually a silent call for help. So next time you think they're just splashing around, remember, Molly, not every dog is born to be a lifeguard. And from that truth, let's move to another familiar myth, one that could be sitting right next to you on the couch. I remember when my grandson scraped his knee and our golden retriever, Max, trotted over and started licking it. My daughter smiled and said, "He's just trying to help. It's good for healing, right?" I used to think that too. After all, we've heard it for decades. Dog saliva has healing powers. But let's take a closer look. Yes, it's true that dog saliva contains some antibacterial enzymes, like histatins. A study by UC Davis found that it can even fight off mild bacteria like E. coli. But here's what most people don't realize. Dog mouths also carry billions of harmful bacteria, like Capnocytophaga and Pasteurella. According to the Washington Post, over 70% of dogs carry Capnocytophaga, which can cause serious infections, especially in older adults or people with weaker immune systems. More than that, excessive licking often turns small wounds into raw, infected hotspots. Dogs don't know when to stop. What starts as an innocent lick can turn into an open sore that festers. So what should you do? Clean the wound gently, cover it, and keep your dog from licking it. That's not being overprotective. That's being smart. Especially if you're in your 60s or 70s. A simple scratch, plus a dog's lick, could land you in the hospital. We all love to think our dogs are natural healers, but sometimes love needs a little logic. And speaking of love, let's talk about another popular belief, that dogs love hugs. When my granddaughter hugs our beagle, Benny, he just stands there, frozen. No tail wag, no lick, just a stiff body and a sideways glance. "See? He loves it," she says. But if you know what to look for, you'd realize Benny isn't enjoying the moment. He's enduring it. We humans find comfort in hugs. For us, it means warmth, love, and connection. But for most dogs, it feels very different. Dogs communicate through body language, and having their space restricted by arms wrapped tightly around them often triggers stress. Signs like turning their head away, yawning, licking their lips, or stiffening up are not signs of affection. Their silent pleas for space. A study from the University of British Columbia showed that over 80% of dogs in photos being hugged displayed signs of anxiety. That's not because they don't love us. It's because, to them, being held like that can feel more like a trap than a cuddle. Now, this doesn't mean your dog can't love hugs. Some do, especially if they've been gently conditioned to enjoy it over time. But many simply tolerate it, and some downright hate it. So, what's better? Try gentle belly rubs, slow ear scratches, or simply sitting beside them quietly. Those are love languages your dog understands. Because true affection isn't about what makes us feel good, it's about what makes them feel safe. And now, from hugs to hallway etiquette, let's dive into the myth of dogs walking ahead of us through doors. I remember walking my old German Shepherd, Duke. Every time we got to the front door, he'd rush ahead before I even touched the handle. A friend once told me, "You need to stop that. He's trying to dominate you." I laughed and thought, dominate me? He just really wants to pee. This myth comes from an outdated idea of pack hierarchy, where dogs are constantly trying to climb the ranks and take control. But modern research in canine behavior shows that most of the time, dogs walk ahead simply because they're excited, they're curious, they move faster than we do, and they're eager to explore. There's no evidence that walking through a doorway first means your dog sees themselves as the alpha. In fact, behaviorists now agree that dominance in dogs is often misunderstood. What you're seeing is energy, not ego. Now, if you want your dog to wait politely at the door, that's great. But train them to do it with kindness and consistency, not fear. Teach them to pause and look to you for direction. Not because you're the boss, but because you're their safe place, their guide. So don't worry, your pup isn't plotting a household takeover. They're just excited to chase the breeze or sniff the next fire hydrant. And while we're busting myths, let's tackle one that might surprise you even more. Dogs obey because they want to please us. Back in the day, I used to believe that my Labrador, Charlie, followed my every command because he loved me so much. He just wants to make me happy, I'd say, proudly watching him sit, stay, and roll over on cue. It felt like loyalty, like devotion. But over the years, and with a bit more reading, I realized something humbling. Charlie wasn't performing out of some noble sense of service. He was a smart dog who figured out that sitting when asked meant treats, praise, or sometimes just avoiding getting scolded. And you know what? That doesn't make him any less special. According to a study from the University of Vienna, dogs respond best to positive reinforcement. That means they do things because there's a benefit, whether it's a snack, a belly rub, or your cheerful voice. It's not about devotion. It's about good deals. Think about it like this. If you were paid in cookies every time you took out the trash, wouldn't you do it faster? The good news? If your dog listens well, it means you've done something right. You've trained them with patience and clarity. You've made being good worth it. So the next time your pup follows your lead, give yourself some credit. They're not trying to win your heart. They already have. They're just smart enough to know that love often comes with snacks. Now, let's talk about something that might feel a little more serious. What happens when a dog growls? Years ago, a friend told me proudly, "My dog knows better than to growl at me too." But a few weeks later, that same dog snapped without warning and bit. It left everyone shocked. But if you understand dog behavior, it shouldn't be a surprise at all. Growling isn't bad behavior. It's communication. It's your dog's way of saying, "I'm uncomfortable," or "Please, give me space." When we punish that warning sign, we don't fix the discomfort. We just silence the alarm. Imagine your smoke detector going off. Would you take the batteries out and feel safe? Of course not. That's exactly what happens when we punish a dog for growling. We remove the early warning and leave the danger behind. According to the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior, suppressing growling doesn't prevent aggression. It makes it worse. Because now, instead of warning you, your dog might go straight to biting. So what should we do instead? Pay attention. Ask, what's making my dog anxious? Is it pain, fear, or feeling threatened? Address the cause, not the symptom. Give them space, use calm tones, and get professional guidance if needed. A growl isn't an act of rebellion. It's a request for help. And respecting that could be what keeps both you and your dog safe. Now, from growls to greetings, what about that classic advice to let a dog sniff your hand first? You've probably heard it 100 times. When you meet a new dog, hold out your hand so they can sniff you. It's polite, right? Like offering a handshake. But here's the thing. Dogs don't work that way. I once watched a visitor lean over and thrust her hand toward my nervous rescue dog, Toby. He flinched, backed away, and barked. She looked offended, like he'd rejected a friendly gesture. But to Toby, that sudden hand was an invasion. Dogs don't need our hand in their face to smell us. Their noses are so powerful, they can detect our scent from across a room. According to behaviorists at Tufts University, shoving a hand toward a dog can actually feel threatening, especially to anxious or shy ones. The better approach? Stand still. Turn slightly sideways. Avoid direct eye contact. Let the dog decide whether to approach. If they do, let them sniff you, on their terms. No reaching, no pressure. Just quiet presence. Think of it this way. Would you feel safe if a stranger got right up in your face and said, "Hi there," with no warning? Probably not. Dogs value space, just like people do. Respecting that space builds trust and a much better first impression. And now, let's explore one final myth. It's the one many dog lovers hold closest to their hearts, that when a dog leans against you, it always means love. My golden retriever, Lucy, used to lean against me every time I sat on the porch. I'd smile and say, "She loves her dad." And most of the time, that was probably true. But one day, she leaned harder than usual, ears back, tail tucked, eyes wide. That wasn't affection. That was anxiety. Many of us have heard it. If your dog leans on you, it means they love you. And yes, often it is a sign of trust or a need for closeness. But that's not the only reason dogs lean. According to the American College of Veterinary Behaviorists, dogs also lean when they feel unsure, frightened, or need reassurance. Some do it for comfort. Others do it to get your attention, or even subtly claim space. It's not always love. It can be vulnerability. So how can you tell the difference? Read the full picture. Is their body relaxed, tail wagging, breathing steady? Or are they stiff, avoiding eye contact, shifting their weight nervously? The truth is, leaning is a behavior with many meanings. And love? Love is one of them, not all of them. When we assume every lean is a fuzzy cuddle, we might miss when our dog is quietly asking for help. But when we truly listen, when we see the lean and read the signs behind it, we show a deeper kind of love. One rooted not just in affection, but understanding. Now that we've cleared up these common myths, let's reflect on what it really means to know your dog. By now, you've probably realized something important. A lot of what we thought we knew about dogs isn't quite right. Not because we're careless or uninformed, but because we love them so much. We often see them through a human lens. We assume they swim because some do. We let them lick wounds thinking it's healing. We hug them tight, believing it comforts them. We reward silence, punish growls, and misread their every lean as pure affection. But love, real love, means listening, even when the truth is uncomfortable. So let's take a moment to remember what we've uncovered. Not every dog is born a swimmer. Not every lick is healing. Not every hug is welcome. And not every growl is aggression. What's more, your dog isn't trying to dominate you by rushing through a door, nor are they obeying you just to make you proud. They're responding to what works, to what feels safe, to what gets a treat. And when they lean on you, it might be love, sure, but it might also be fear, or a quiet cry for comfort. The beauty of dogs is that they do love us, but they love in their own language. And if we want to love them back, we have to learn that language. So next time your dog looks at you, tilts their head, or rests their weight against your side, pause, look deeper. Ask what they're really saying, because the more we understand, the stronger the bond becomes. And if you've ever wondered why your dog keeps checking on you, even when you're just sitting in your chair doing nothing, well, that mystery's coming up next. Before you go, let me ask you something. Has your dog ever stared at you from across the room, just watching? Or gently nudged you when you weren't doing anything special? It's not random. In fact, dogs have dozens of reasons for checking on us, and some of them are surprisingly emotional, even mysterious. In our next video, we'll uncover 12 unusual reasons why your dog keeps checking on you. From hidden instincts to heartfelt habits, you'll see your furry friend in a whole new light. So hit play. Because when your dog looks at you, they might be saying more than you think. Have you ever noticed that every time you open the door and step into your house, your dog rushes out to greet you, then suddenly stretches its body, raises its rear end, and lowers its front legs like a little welcome dance? You might think it's just a quick stretch after a nap, but no. I bet what you're about to hear will melt your heart. After over 20 years studying canine behavior, I've realized something. Every paw lick, every longing gaze, every time your dog blocks the doorway, or even sighs while lying next to you, these are all silent love languages that most of us overlook. Dogs can't speak, but their hearts do it for them. And if you understand all 16 tiny signs I'm about to share, you'll realize, to your dog, you're not just an owner. You're their whole world, their family, their breath, their entire life they're ready to protect, love, and give everything for. Many people think raising a dog just means feeding it and taking it for walks. But in reality, those silly-looking behaviors are how dogs check on your health, share their love, and guard you from the worst things life might throw your way. Watch this video to the end, and from today on, you'll never ignore that stretch greeting again, or the little sigh next to your feet, or that gentle paw on your shoulder like a quiet reassurance. And if you truly love your dog the way they love you, hit the subscribe button right now. Because I promise, you'll be surprised and love your furry friend 100 times more once you fully understand this invisible language. Ready? Let's decode every behavior and understand all the I love yous your dog whispers to you every day. You just opened the door, didn't even take your shoes off yet, and your dog comes rushing, bows its front legs, lifts its butt in the air, and wags its tail like a living, laughing broom. Many think it's just stretching after lying around all day. Actually, it's the sweetest greeting a dog can give. That stretch isn't just a playbow. It's your dog yelling silently, "You're home! Play with me! I missed you so much! I'm about to go crazy!" Just bend down, pet their head, run a few playful circles with them, and you'll see their eyes sparkle like holiday fireworks. And if you think that's all, just wait for what comes next. Have you ever wondered why, when you close the bathroom door, you come out to find those wet eyes staring at you? Your dog isn't being weird like you joke. In the wild, when a wolf or stray dog relieves itself or rests, its pack keeps watch to protect it. Your pup is doing the same. They don't mind bad smells or splashes. What scares them is you being vulnerable. Next time, instead of saying, "Go away," just whisper, "Thank you, I'm fine now." One tiny sentence in exchange for a heart that guards you for life. But guarding is just part of it. Your dog is also a free therapist. Sometimes when you're down, they'll come over, sniff your feet, and suddenly lick you like their taste buds can read your mind. And they sort of can. Thanks to the amazing Jacobson's organ, dogs can detect stress hormones in your sweat. They're scanning your feelings, sensing tension, and healing you with loving licks. If they lick you more than usual, sit down and cuddle them longer. Trust me, no pill will comfort you better than that warm little tongue. Many owners feel sad when their dog sits with its back turned. Are they mad at me? You wonder. But actually, turning their back to you is a supreme love declaration. In nature, showing their back means surrendering their life to their pack. They trust you so much they don't need to watch you, because they know you'll protect them just like they protect you. Next time, don't feel hurt. Gently place your hand on their back and whisper, "I love you too." Ever seen your dog bring you their favorite toy, a half-chewed bone, or their ragged pillow? Many think they just want to play fetch, but really, they're gifting you their most treasured possession. This is my favorite thing in the whole world, besides you. I'm sharing it because you're family. And if you've seen them drag your shoes, socks, or teddy bear into a corner, don't freak out. They're hunting for treasures to bring home to you. Praise them, toss the toy, run a few steps with them. You'll see their tiny hearts swell with pride. That head tilt you love filming for TikTok. It's not just an adorable, clueless face. It's a radar tuning into your emotions. Tilting left, analyzing how you feel. Tilting right, translating your commands to make you happy. Next time, whisper, "I love you," and watch that little tilted head and perked ears. Your heart will melt for sure. And if you see your dog roll over and show their belly while wagging their tail as you approach, don't just give a lazy scratch. Showing their belly is exposing their most vulnerable spot to you. In the wild, it's a promise. I trust you completely. I belong to you. Gently rub their belly, stroke slowly, whisper kind words. You're helping them release happy hormones and drift into the safest sleep in the world. Try walking upstairs, downstairs, into the kitchen, any room. Does your dog follow you like a shadow? You might say, "They're so clingy, it's annoying." But actually, they're assigning themselves as your 24/7 bodyguard. To a dog, the most important job is to keep you within sight, ready to block any danger, no matter how small. Every step you take, they're willing to take 1,000 more, just to make sure you're okay. To love you means never hesitating to climb 100 stairs just to catch another glimpse of you. Once they're sure you're safe, they keep whispering love through tiny actions you usually overlook, like when you hear a deep sigh while they're lying beside you. You think they're bored? Not at all. It's a gentle exhale of relief. Everything's fine. You're here. The world is perfect now. Sometimes it's also a sign of vigilance. Don't worry. I'm watching over you. Rest easy. Every breath is a reassurance from them to you. Even if you never hear it with your ears, just listen with your heart. But that heart, it is wiser than you think. Look at how they place their paw on you. On your hand, your leg, even gently on your chest when you're sad. Each spot means something different. A paw on your hand. Please, comfort me. I need to hear that everything will be okay. A paw on your thigh. Let me help you work. And a paw on your chest or shoulder is a soft promise. I can see you're not okay. I'll stay here until you smile again. They can't speak, but every paw touch is a complex love study that never fails. Did you know your dog's sleeping position reveals everything about your bond? If they curl up right next to you, you're my safest home. If they sleep facing the door while near you, they're guarding your sleep. Some like to sleep at your feet, faithful guards ready to jump up at your slightest move. And if, one night, you wake up to find them hogging your pillow, head resting like a child's, congratulations, your dog has crowned you the safest person in the world. Many people misunderstand when they see their dog pushing their food bowl around noisily. They get annoyed, thinking it's just a mess. But no, in wolf packs, sharing food proves trust, love, and family ties. Your dog is saying, "This is my most prized thing, after you. I'm willing to share it because you're my family." Some dogs will even skip a meal just to run to you when you call. To them, your love is worth more than hunger. If food is a serious gift, then your socks or the shirt you leave on the bed are the most romantic treasures. Your dog steals your socks, drags them around the house, hides them under pillows, even brings them outside. You get mad? Remember, they're collecting your scent, carrying around their personal bottle of love perfume. When you're at work, that sock becomes their comfort pillow to ease the longing. A tiny nest full of your smell is the warmest blanket they can gift themselves when you're away. Sometimes they even lie across the doorway, tripping you or annoying you. But look at it from their side. The door is the line between you and everything outside. By lying there, they guard a strategic spot, ready to intercept anyone who dares approach you. They're smart, too. Lying there helps them hear your footsteps, so they never miss a moment when you leave or come back. It's an unshakable checkpoint, an invisible shield of love they place for you. And then, out of nowhere, you see your dog zooming around the house like a tornado, skidding to a halt, then dashing off again like pure happiness on four legs. That's a zoomie, a burst of joy too big for their little body to contain. They do it to share their energy with you, to pull you away from your phone, to remind you, look at me, happiness is contagious. If you see them zoomie, run along for a few laps. It's the best free antidepressant life could ever give you. But there's one last gesture, the quietest yet most touching. The way they gaze at you with deep, unwavering eyes, so long you wonder, what are they staring at? Science has proven that when a dog looks into your eyes, both you and your dog release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone between a mother and child. They're not begging for anything. They're simply soaking in the purest moment of love, where it's just you and them. No words needed. Each gaze is a silent vow, repeated 1,000 times. I choose to love you, today, tomorrow, and always. So, from today on, Treasure every stretch, every gaze, every paw lick, every sigh. Because these are the 16 quiet love notes your dog writes just for you, and no one else in the world. If you feel you now understand your dog's heart better, don't hesitate to share your story in the comments and hit subscribe, so I can tell you even more amazing things about these silent angels who love us far more than we ever realize. Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and felt something you couldn't quite explain? Maybe it happened after a long day when you finally sat down, and without a word, your dog quietly rested their head on your lap. No barking, no asking, just presence, a silent kind of love. Many people believe dogs lick us because they taste salt on our skin, but that explanation barely scratches the surface. If you've ever had your hand gently licked at the exact moment you felt low, you might already know. It's more than instinct. It's a message, one that says, I'm here, I see you, I love you. This video isn't just about cute habits or fun facts. It's about understanding the hidden emotional world of dogs, how they show love, trust, and even healing in ways we often overlook. And among the 15 behaviors we'll explore today, number 10 has made countless dog owners stop, cry, and rethink everything they thought they knew about their fur babies. Because for dogs, love isn't loud. It's not always a bark or a wag. Sometimes it's a quiet nuzzle, a soft paw, or just staying by your side in silence. If that's the kind of connection you want to understand deeper, you're in the right place. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Here, we don't just talk about raising dogs. We talk about living with them, with empathy, with presence, and with love. The door opens, and a storm arrives. You don't even get a chance to take off your shoes. The moment you turn that doorknob, there's a sound of paws skittering on the floor, a rush of fur, and a tail whipping the air like it's been waiting all day. Your dog charges at you, not because they're hungry, not because they're bored, but because, to them, you just came back from the moon. In the wild, wolves reunite with intense excitement. It's instinct, but your dog's joy is personal. It's not just, you're back, it's, my world just returned. And for someone who may live alone or miss the presence of family, that burst of greeting fills a quiet home with something rare, unfiltered, unconditional love. Nights of quiet warmth. Later, when the rush settles, something else happens. As you ease into your favorite chair or lay in bed, you feel it, the soft weight of your dog curling beside you. Maybe they wiggle under the blanket. Maybe they press against your back, matching your breath without even trying. It feels comforting, but it's also deeply biological. In fact, researchers have found that when dogs sleep close to their humans, both experience a boost in oxytocin, the love hormone that deepens bonding and reduces stress. So every night you share with your dog, you're not just sharing space, you're sharing calm. You're sharing something ancient, like two pack members choosing trust over distance. The eyes that speak without words. Then there's the quiet gaze, not a stare, not a demand, just those soft, blinking eyes that seem to say, I'm here, are you okay? When your dog looks at you that way, they're doing more than watching. They're offering you their heart. Studies show that this kind of eye contact triggers the same hormonal response seen between mothers and infants, a release of oxytocin that strengthens emotional closeness. That means when your dog looks at you softly and you return the gaze, a feedback loop of love begins. No words, just connection. That's why, Sometimes you feel better without even knowing why. Because someone saw you, and they didn't need you to explain. The gift that has no price. You're sipping coffee, reading a book, and then, there it is. A slobbery toy. A sock from who knows where. Your dog drops it at your feet with the kind of pride a child might show after drawing a masterpiece. It's not random. In the wild, dogs' ancestors shared food with packmates they trusted. Your dog is doing the same. That toy, that sock, it's their version of, I love you, I trust you, I want to share what brings me joy. And if you smile or play along, even for a second you tell them, message received. And that's when the bond grows even deeper. The bodyguard with a wagging tail. You're chatting with someone at the door, and suddenly you notice your dog standing between you and the visitor. Ears alert, eyes focused. Not aggressive, just ready. It's not training. It's instinct born from love. Your dog senses that you matter, and anyone unfamiliar is a potential concern. Even the smallest, fluffiest pup will step into the role of guardian if they believe you're worth protecting. And they do. Always. One viewer once said, "My dog comes to sit at my feet if anyone approaches." That's not just habit. That's devotion. And for many of us, knowing someone is always watching over us, no matter how quietly, brings a comfort nothing else can replace. A belly up is a heart laid bare. There's something oddly tender about seeing your dog on their back, legs in the air, looking at you with those relaxed eyes. The belly is the most vulnerable part of a dog's body, and no creature exposes it unless they trust completely. So when your dog shows you their belly, it's not a request for belly rubs, it's an emotional surrender. A way of saying, "You're my safe place." Even if they don't want you to touch it, the act itself carries meaning. I know you'd never hurt me. In a world where many feel unseen or fragile, that silent trust means everything. It's your dog telling you, I feel safe with you, always. Following you like a living shadow. You go to the kitchen. They're there. You move to the bathroom, and suddenly you hear paws just outside the door. Some laugh and call it clingy. But the truth? It's loyalty. Dogs are pack animals. And in today's world, you are their pack. They're only one. Following you room to room isn't about control. It's about staying close to the one they love. Older viewers have shared stories of their dogs waiting outside closed doors just to be near. It's not dependence. It's presence. Quiet, patient presence. And that, in itself, is a kind of love too few people ever get to feel. The gentle interruptions that say, "Don't forget me." You're watching TV, maybe typing something on your laptop, and suddenly, there it is. A paw on your knee. A head resting awkwardly across your keyboard. At first, it might feel like interruption, but if you pause, you'll see it's more. It's your dog saying, "I'm still here. Do you see me?" It's not jealousy. It's affection. It's connection. Some owners say their dog even glances at their smart collars during these moments, as if trying to sync their rhythm with yours. That's not coincidence. That's relationship. In a world of noise, your dog chooses quiet moments to remind you you're not alone. They know when you're hurting. You didn't say a word. You didn't need to. Somehow, your dog just knew. They came close, rested their head on your chest, and exhaled, like a long, slow sigh meant to match yours. Scientists have studied this, and it turns out dogs really do sense our sadness. In fact, In one experiment, dogs approached people who pretended to cry more often than those simply humming or talking. No command taught them that. It's just their heart answering yours. For many of us, especially in our later years, those quiet visits during tough days feel more comforting than any words could offer. Sometimes, all we need is someone who doesn't ask why. We just need someone who stays. The meaning behind the lick. It starts softly. Maybe a lick on your hand as you read. Maybe your cheek after a long nap. You smile thinking it's just their quirky way of showing love. And you're right. But it's more than that. Licking is a deep-rooted behavior, learned in puppyhood, when they licked their mother for nourishment and comfort. It's a language. When your dog licks you, they're saying, "You're family." But they're also soothing themselves. Just as humans take deep breaths or hold hands, dogs use licking to balance their emotions. And yes, research confirms that it lowers stress for both of you. One gentle lick carries more meaning than most of us realize. It's care, comfort, connection, all wrapped into one quiet moment. Gentle play, bites, a throwback to puppyhood. They nibble at your fingers while you pet them, or gently mouth your wrist during play. There's no pain, no tension, just a light, playful nibble. It might feel strange at first, but this behavior goes back to how puppies learn to interact with their littermates. They play bite to bond, to test limits, to express closeness. When your dog does that with you, they're saying, "You're part of my pack." And if you respond with laughter or a gentle tug of war, the message is clear. You accept their invitation. It's more than play. It's inclusion. A quiet paw, a loud message. You're sitting in silence, maybe tired, maybe overwhelmed, and suddenly, a paw rests on your leg. No barking, no whining, just a soft, steady touch. Your dog isn't asking for anything. They're not begging for food or a walk. They're reminding you, "I'm here." Animal behaviorists call this one of the clearest signs of emotional attunement. Especially in older dogs, this kind of touch isn't random. It's a learned way of giving comfort. And for those of us who've lost loved ones or live alone, that one paw can feel like an entire hand reaching out through the quiet. The forgiveness that heals without words. You yelled by accident, maybe stepped on a paw while rushing, maybe scolded them too sharply on a stressful day. And yet, minutes later, there they are, tail wagging, eyes soft, like nothing happened. Dogs don't hold grudges. They don't replay old hurts or make you earn your way back. For them, love exists only in the present. And that forgiveness? It's powerful. It reminds us that mistakes don't define us. What matters is that we're still here, still trying. For people who've lived long enough to know regret, a dog's ability to forgive without hesitation can feel like grace. Pure, unconditional grace, the head tilt that listens deeper. You speak to your dog, and suddenly they tilt their head, eyes focused, ears perked, like they're trying to catch every word. It might look funny, even theatrical, but this little motion is backed by science. Dogs tilt their heads to locate sound more precisely, but also to better read our tone, our expressions, even our feelings. That head tilt says, "I'm listening, not just to your words, but to you." In a world where so many feel unheard, this moment of attention is more than cute. It's rare. And for many, especially those navigating life alone or with limited connection, it's healing. When they learn to talk back. At some point, the relationship shifts. Your dog doesn't just listen. They begin to speak. in their own way. A soft whine in the morning, a rumbling roo-roo as you laugh, a howl when you sing or talk to them. For breeds like huskies, it's expected. But even quiet dogs find their voice over time. And it's not just noise, it's dialogue. When a dog starts to mimic your patterns, it means they feel safe, connected, seen. Many call it cute, but what it really is language. Built not with grammar, but with trust. And once your dog begins to talk to you, you're no longer just a pet owner. You're in a conversation of the heart. So, maybe now, when your dog does these things, sits silently by your side, licks your hand, lets out that familiar sigh, you'll see it differently. These aren't quirks. They're declarations. Tiny reminders that you are not just loved, you are everything. If you recognized even one of these behaviors in your dog, then you already know. You're their whole world. You are the reason their eyes light up, the reason they wait by the door, the reason they feel safe enough to fall asleep without a care. Dogs don't love us for our looks, our money, or our accomplishments. They love us for our presence, for the simple act of being there, day after day, in moments big and small. They don't care if you forgot to take out the trash, or if you didn't sleep well last night. They love you anyway. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of love we all need more of. The kind that sees us at our most tired, our most distracted, our most human, and stays. The kind that forgives without being asked. The kind that speaks in silence and shows up, not just in joy, but especially in sorrow. Someone once said, "We share a part of our life with our dog, but they share their whole life with us." That's why every little lick, every paw on your knee, every as they settle beside you, it all matters. Every bit of it. So, if this video made you smile, made you remember your dog a little differently, or made you feel a little less alone, then I invite you to subscribe. Because here, we don't just talk about raising dogs. We talk about living with them, with patience, with empathy, with an open heart.